What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got multiple things here for you guys in this video and what is going on here. Also, I am giving away $1,000 to our YouTube community here. I'll give you a clue to how to get that and what's in this box. If you can guess what's in that box, you could win money directly from me, and I'll go over that here later in this video. So make sure to watch all the way to the end of this video. Also, if you're new to our YouTube channel or you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos that come out here on a daily basis on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to hit the like button for us as well. As we get closer and closer to the election, we're starting to get some pretty close predictions on what might happen. Here is some details on this. As you can see here, red wave likely in the House of Representatives as the GOP gains a crucial edge. Take a look. The midterm elections are less than 2 weeks away, and campaigns are struggling to make last-minute pitches as election days near. The nonpartisan Cook Political Report with Amy Walter on Tuesday increased its outlook for the House GOP gains from 10 to 20 seats to 12 to 25 seats of Republican gains as Democrats' blue state problems expanded. The GOP needs 5 seats to flip the House, and a new NBC poll shows that 78% of Republicans have a high interest in voting in the midterm, compared with 69% of Democrats. The Cook Political Report described the House landscape as unusually bifurcated. Wow, well that's quite a statement, right? In some red and purple states, which means kind of like mixed blue, mixed red, somewhat Republican, somewhat Democrat. Democrats are beating President Biden's rating. I don't know. Boy, the wording here in this article is quite the statement, right? But some of the party's headaches are emerging in blue states such as even New York, Oregon, and Connecticut. The GOP hits in 218 ratings as battle rages across the big playing field. Also, in you can see here, Republicans leading Democrats by 4 points. So 4% on a generic congressional ballot in a new poll. So by 4%. Yeah, so Republicans have rebounded to a 4% lead over Democrats on a generic congressional ballot, according to a new Suffolk University / USA Today poll. 49% of likely voters said they would vote for Republican candidates if elections for Congress were held today, compared to 45% support for the Democratic candidates, the polling found. The GOP advantage marks a turnaround from the pollsters' past surveys over the summer, when Democrats saw gains after they latched onto the Supreme Court's overturning of the abortion protections. That July survey found the Democrats with a 4-point lead. Now it's Republicans with a 4-point lead, which is about an 8-point swing. The new poll found that 56% of respondents indicated inflation mattered to them more than abortion, while 40% said abortion was more important. 4% were undecided. The new survey also differed by including a sample of likely voters, while the previous survey polled a broader group of registered. I mean, every survey is going to be a slightly different group of people, right? And there is a chance that Republicans could take over the House and the Senate even. Here, take a listen.
They predict that markets, the betting markets, the RC, Real Clear Politics averages, everything sort of broke at the same time. How long ago, Dan?
That's right, Joe. Good morning, and we're less than 2 weeks out. You really started to see about three big changes about 3 weeks ago. The first is the congressional generic ballot turned to the Republicans. Republicans have won midterm elections, even when that was pointing to a slight Democratic lead. So it's pretty strong when the Republicans are in the lead. Number two, the betting odds began to move. And number three, we build election portfolios at Strategas. We have a Republican portfolio, a Democratic portfolio. These are the stocks that will benefit if either party wins. And what we do, Joe, is we run those stocks relative to each other to see how the market is pricing in the election. And we found that this has been a much better indicator of polls in the last few presidential cycles. For most of August and September, this was projecting a Republican House and a Democratic Senate, just a 35% chance of a Republican sweep. And over the last 3 weeks, that number has doubled. We've gone from about a 35% chance of a Republican sweep to a 70% chance of a Republican sweep. So the move has been dramatic, and it's being reflected in the polls, the betting odds, and now even in the stock market.
What is in the Republican portfolio, if you will? What's in the Democratic portfolio? And have you seen actual movement in the past 3 weeks? In the last week, the markets, do you think the overall market is responding to what's happening in the UK or the 10-year or a possible swivel? I call it a swivel instead of it. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and you can never do an experiment if you can never back out all the variables that could be involved. So there's no way to say definitively one way or another, but we've had a good week. Or at least 5,
absolutely.
6
And let's just take those separately. Where we're seeing the Republican portfolio start to get a lot of momentum are in three key areas. Energy infrastructure, to your point, that could be around just higher oil prices. Also, the Republicans are likely to do permitting reform. But immigration stocks that will benefit from better immigration enforcement at the border. We think that's pretty isolated in terms of what the Republicans' priority is going to be. And then third, defense spending. Again, also impacted by other events, what's going on in Ukraine and China. But those are the three big areas that we've been seeing the momentum in the Republican portfolio. And all three are election related, even if it's at least partially. On the other side, where you're seeing the real weakness in the Democratic portfolio has been in clean energy stocks. These stocks got a really big bounce when President Biden passed his Inflation Reduction Act. You're talking about a 15% underperformance relative to the S&P 500 over the last 30 days in the stocks. Now, Joe, we tend to think that this is a little bit overdone. It's going to be pretty hard for the Republicans to do something meaningful to take some of those tax credits back. But I think that's the real pure play on the election. And let me make one other point. If you see that the consensus is wrong and the election begins to shift and that the Republicans are only going to win the House, Democrats are going to win the Senate, I think you'll see that manifest itself in those clean energy stocks, which will likely rally into the election. To the broader market, we have found that the midterm elections, just getting to the midterm elections, has been the catalyst for the S&P 500, regardless of who wins the party. A lot of the silly season goes away. You tend to get a lot more fiscal tightening in a midterm election year. And then once presidents usually suffer large midterm election losses, they begin to look for more fiscal policy. And the market begins to sniff out that you're going to get better fiscal and monetary policy. That may be a lot more restricted this time because of inflation, rising interest costs on the debt. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see an aggressive lame duck session of Congress in the weeks after the midterm election as Congress tries to get as much done before the Republicans take over on January 3rd. So the election is just a 1 point. We're probably going to have an exciting year end as well.
Yeah, and the Dow Jones up 415 points already today. And you can see here over the last 5 days, the Dow Jones is up around 1,500 points, stock market index this week. So the stocks have really been rallying this month. This week. This is why I always say, don't panic when you see a dip in the market. You got to remember that stocks they're choppy. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. Stocks, look at where we are in a 1 month time frame here. We've gone from 29,000 to 32,200 in the last month. you got to remember that if you always want to sell on every dip in the market, um, you got to remember that that's the stocks. This is kind of how they are. You got to remember that you can't panic, especially if this is like your retirement portfolio. If you're saving for retirement, you got to remember. You look at this here. Um, if you're putting money in your paycheck and it's growing for retirement, 30 years ago, the Dow Jones Index was at 3,200. Now it's at 32,000. So if you were putting money in every single paycheck and it's just growing and growing and growing over 30 years, 30 years ago it was at 3,200. Now it's at 32,000. So that's a 10x return, even despite the drops during the 2020 pandemic and the recent drops we've had and the tech bubble, the 2008, and throughout all the fear and all the drops and everything, it's gone from 3,200 to 32,000. Okay, so you got to remember, you got to kind of keep this into perspective. You look at this graph here, and it's hard to even tell how much it's gone up, but it's gone up 10x. So your money has doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled. So yeah, so you never hear when things are going good. You always hear kind of, oh, the stock market is bad when it's going down, but it's one of the few places that your money can actually grow as long as you're not selling when everybody's scared. Warren Buffett, the most famous investor, his famous quote is, contrarian investing, buy when there's blood in the streets, which is kind of, sounds kind of strange, but it really means just buy low, sell high, or really just keep buying along the way. So if you're in the stage where you're, putting money in with your paycheck, you just keep buying along the way. Just buy every 2 weeks. You just put in throughout, keep buying and buying and buying. You get a little bit through your paycheck all along the way, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The people who lose out are the people that panic and sell. So occasionally I'll get questions. Jimmy, what are you doing right now? Aren't you worried? The thing that I worry about, honestly, the only really thing that I worry about is a nuclear war. That's the thing that I worry about, because if that happened, then that's a very different story. Besides that, the whole inflation thing and the ups and downs of the markets, honestly, I'm not really too worried about that, because ups and downs of the markets are pretty common. Last year the S&P 500 was up 27%. This year we basically gave that back. We basically gave that return back. It's really no big deal. If anything, it's kind of a buying opportunity to uh, buy back at the lows of last year. So if if anything, you don't want to buy at the top. You want to buy when things are low. So it kind of gives you a buying opportunity. But most people don't look at that. Most people, when it's going up, 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 they want to say, "Oh, buy!" It's crazy. But you want to buy when it's low. It's hard to get in that mindset. A lot of people don't think that way. Okay, when it's low, is actually the time to buy. If you haven't been an investor for a while or anything like that, it's tough. I get it. I get it, right? And really, if you have a 401k, an IRA, or anything like that, generally, the best type of things are just to put them in, an index fund. Something that owns, something like an S&P 500, something that owns, they own a fraction of every type of share. If you have a Vanguard index fund, something that owns shares of hundreds and hundreds of stocks. This way, you're diversified. Is generally pretty much a good thing, for most people. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this, but this way, you're pretty diversified. And then from there on, you can buy some individual stocks and stuff like that if you want to. is always, some interesting plays you can do from there on out. But it's always good. As always, not investing advice. I'm not an investment advisor or anything like that. But you always have to do your own due diligence. Of course. But let me know your thoughts on this. But honestly, we've seen the market kind of bounce back pretty good here from the lows over the last several weeks. But who knows what will happen in the future? We could go down again. We could go back up again. Honestly, the economy is on very shaky grounds. We have, very high interest rates. They're going to go up again and again. Mortgage demand terrible. Credit card interest rates really high. Really, the economy is doing pretty bad going into an election. And the odds are not looking good for the Democrats because of this. A lot of people, if you ask them how the economy is doing, they're going to tell you terrible. So it's not really looking good for the Democrats because of this. And a lot of people don't really know that this is going on in pretty much every other country around the world. And this is going to reflect badly on the Democrats because of this. So you can let me know your thoughts here on this. So without further ado, let's get to the What's in the Box contest. So me, my wife, and our son, our family, we're giving away back to our YouTube community here, our extended family here in October, November, and December. So we're giving away $1,000 here just with this one right here this month. And we're going to be doing this again with some type of thing here in November and December as well. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Click the like button for us as well. If you can guess what's in this box, you'll be entered into the pool of people who have guessed correctly. And from there, we will have a random comment generator randomly pick from the pool of people who have guessed correctly to randomly pick 10 people to win $100 each for a total of $1,000. So if you can guess correctly, you'll be entered into the pool of people who have guessed correctly. And you just might win $100 each for a total of $1,000. Okay, so I recommend you write down the clues to to guess what's in the box. To guess, all you need to do is just leave a comment down below. You can guess right now. It's completely free to guess. Okay, so clue number 4. Clue number 4 is the item in the box can go very fast. The item in the box can go very fast. So if you think you know what is in the box, please leave a guess down below. Even if you don't think you know, just take a guess. Take a guess. That's clue number 4. If you want to go see the previous clues, just watch the videos right before this. Also, be aware of scammers. If you see any scammers saying text me or call me, even if they're using my pictures, they're not me. They're people just pretending to look like me. I don't have any phone numbers or text, or I don't have WhatsApp. If you see anybody saying that in the comment section, they're just people pretending to be me. I will always have a check mark by my name. I'm verified by YouTube, so keep that in mind. After the 10th clue here, in a video after the 10th clue, I will have a video showing the winners on the screen. And from there, I'll give you directions on how to contact me, or I'll be able to send on the money to you. Okay. And remember, we're going to be doing a contest here in November and December as well. Just kind of our way of giving back to our YouTube family here. So make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget to like this video, and you can watch this video here to see President Biden's executive order where he's going to basically be giving billions of dollars back to the American people here with this executive order he just did. And you can click this video here to see checks going out to millions of Americans as well that you might not even know about. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.